Hello, this is Daniel Mart back again. I'm a filmmaker and actor based out of South Florida, and for this, I just kind of want to give some context to what you're about to see. So this is an interview I did back around, I want to say October, back of last year with Stephen Hornyak. I believe that's how you say his last name, Stephen Hornyak, and he is a actor and educator based out of Hollywood, California. And basically, for this interview, the purposes of this interview, he is currently, at least at the time that we did the interview back a few months ago, he was trying to do some research for a project that he had upcoming, a educations project. I guess that's the best way to put it. He and some of his business partners, I suppose business partners, investors, etc., 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 were trying to start a class, and in order for them to start this class, they wanted to see if actors would be interested in general, because I believe this was going to be a nationwide thing at the very least. And they just wanted to know if actors were interested and what actors wanted to get out of a program such as the one he was offering. And that's basically the context for this upcoming interview that you're about to watch. I just felt that you needed that context very fast before actually watching the interview, because we kind of just jump in. He kind of just started recording it right there before we properly started the interview, if that makes sense. And I think just giving that context. Also, you're not going to see my face because at the time, and I say this very early on in the video or in the interview, but the reason you don't see my face is because I was currently in a car at that point, and it just really wasn't a good time for me to be showing my face, essentially. And yeah, so that's basically the purpose of that, of this, essentially, just this quick little intro to give you some context for the whole interview. And yeah, as far as I know, he hasn't reached out again to say, hey, my research is done, here's the link to my class, or anything like that. So I mean, but if and when the time comes, even if this video goes up and let's say 3 months from now he finally gives me the link, I'll make sure to put that down below in the description. But that's only if he ever gives me the link. So, if you guys are interested for that. And yeah, essentially from what he told me, it's supposed to be an acting class that he's interested in developing, and geared towards having actors figure out like their typecast, and see what roles they best fit versus what they don't fit. So for me, let's say my usual typecast, for example, would be like the villain or like the goons, so to speak. Then in that case, I wouldn't be going for like the father or like the girl next door. I mean, those are kind of extreme examples, but you kind of get my drift. So that's what his class was focused on. And again, his partners, his research partners, investors, whatever, they want to see what the general gauge with this was from actors around the country. So here we are. Okay, thank you. Here's the interview. Hope you enjoy, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment all that good stuff down below. Let me know. On to the interview.
All right. So, well, tell me about yourself a little bit. How long have you been an actor?
Yeah, hello. So yeah, my name is Daniel Mart, and I've been an actor for 9 years essentially. I'm 24,
Okay.
so I'm 24 right now, so I started when I was 15. Officially, I did some stuff even before that, a few classes, like middle school, high school type classes, but really started pursuing it when I was like 15. So I've been in the industry for over 9 years.
Now, was that your choice, or was that something your parents pushed, or was that something you wanted to do as a child, as a 15-year-old?
So funny story. So I guess initially it started with my mom because I'm a middle schooler. I want to have my summers free to do whatever I want as a whatever. What am I? 14, 13-year-old teenager, right? And my mom, she put me up. I'm based out of Miami, Florida, and the University of Miami, they have a summer program for teenagers that for high school or middle school, and that you could take. It's a program like a summer camp, an acting theater summer camp, and she signed me up for that. But it's not like she had any inclination like, oh, he's gonna enjoy. Like she thought I'm gonna enjoy it, but she didn't think I was like, this is gonna be my fate, so to speak. She just like
took me out of the house. Summer activity, sort of.
Yeah, it was just more to get me out of the house initially, and then I fell in love with it.
Right. So here's the I'm going to start. That's just sort of preliminary, but here's the actual questions of the survey. What are your pains, challenges, fears, and frustrations with acting? Any pains, challenges, fears, and frustrations?
Um. So okay, pains, frustrations, fears. So I think I'm taking this from like where I'm based out of,
Yep.
and most of my frustrations, pains, whatever, come so come more so because of the industry that I'm in. Like I said, I'm based in Miami, and the thing is, South Florida, we have a very big, well, relatively big film industry.
Right.
A lot of it is with telenovelas, which are the Spanish soap operas. We have a
Okay,
lot of music
right.
videos that are shot down here.
Okay.
So that's the thing. However, the thing is, Florida in general, and because it's a whole Florida thing, and then we just suffered because of the byproduct of it. We don't have that many incentives to like get people to come down here, you know. So most of my fears, so to speak, when it comes to acting, come more so: am I going to be able to get a job? You know, be cast in a project. You know, to do that, because most of the projects down here, um, by and large, are non-paid, non-union stuff, which, you know, it works for a while. Don't get me wrong, it gets pretty
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Right.
But after a while, you want to get paid. You want to do some union work. I mean, right now, I know right now in the industry because of the strikes, it's kind of fucked. But generally speaking, that's what we want to do, and that's the goal. And because of where we're located right now, how the industry operates for us, we don't necessarily get most of those opportunities. That's why a lot of people down here typically go up to Atlanta, up in Georgia, to get those kind of jobs. Those
Well,
kind of
that was going to be my
opportunities.
next question. Do you have representation in Atlanta, and can you get there if you get a job?
So right now, I am not signed with an agent.
Sure.
In general, I have tried to get signed with an agent, but it kind of goes back to this thing where, I mean, it goes to a larger issue with the industry down here, where there's just a very lack of support when it comes to certain areas, even within South Florida.
Right.
So, and the thing is, I'm based out of Miami-Dade County, and
Okay.
most of the film industry down here in South Florida is primarily based out of Broward County or Palm Beach County, and
Right.
because of that, they don't. I don't want to say they don't like to support people from Dade County or even Monroe County, which is the county that's right adjacent to us. It's not that they don't want to support us per se, but it's like the benefits that they want usually is normally only for them, and then we usually get the leftovers type of deal, and that includes when getting an agent and stuff like that, because of the fact that I'm just based out of Miami-Dade County.
Okay. And so I get the location thing. I'm going to repeat this back to you. You're actually saying I'm kind of in the wrong location. There's some work here, but there's more work in Atlanta, right? Or
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you want to go that far, yes. I mean, for me, locally, most of the work is up in Broward, which is Fort Lauderdale. That's the city. Again, I'm based out of Miami, which is about an hour away from me. So that's where the work is, just locally. But if you want to go like on a nation scale, yes, it would be up in Atlanta.
Okay. All right. And then what are I mean, besides access to work, what are other challenges with being an actor?
Um, Other challenges with being an actor. I mean, let me ask you that. Like, in what regard? Can you like clarify the question a little bit more? Like,
Well, I mean, some people say I'd like to be a working actor, and I'm not. Right? I'd like to make an entire living as an actor. The challenges. Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I guess then using that logic, I mean, as general as it is, then yeah, I mean, I would like to be a working actor. You know, I mean, I think that all ties back to it, in my opinion, to just my location, where I'm based out of, and the opportunities
Yeah.
I'm lacking because of my location. If I'm understanding your question correctly, too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you are. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'm just trying to dig a little deeper. So it's location. That's a big thing. Now we're saying you'd like to work more or be a working actor, making a living at it, right? And
Yes.
and so when you're talking to your friends about acting and what you want to do, what are some of the things you say in terms besides the location thing? You say about what's difficult.
To be honest, for us, it's literally just the location. If I'm being completely honest, there's really nothing. I mean, if you're saying like acting wise and how to get into a role, like, oh, you know, it's sometimes I need to find the emotion, blah blah blah, like that type of stuff, sure. But if you're talking about just acting within the industry, for us, it's or me issue in general is the location and the lack of support we get from even our local industry.
Right. So I mean, the other stuff you just said about emotions and all that stuff, is that something that comes up for you?
It depends on the role, to be honest. Some roles are easier than others.
Right. Okay. Let's move on from this question, guys. I think you answered it. So, if you were to try to solve this problem by Googling something online, the problem of location, what would you search on Google or YouTube?
Prices of a house in Atlanta. See how much the rent is, and see if I could pay it off. To be honest, I mean, the solution. I mean, for me, the solution is very easy. That's what a lot of people down here are doing. They're migrating up to Atlanta. Some of them are to New York or Chicago, Dallas, whatever. But it's really just how do I move to whatever city I want to move to. Again, generally speaking, for us, it will be Atlanta.
Right. Okay. Then, what kind of have you purchased any books around acting or around marketing yourself as an actor or getting out there? Have you purchased any books?
Yes, I mean, I haven't purchased per se, but I've been gifted books, so I got them free. So I wouldn't say purchase, but yeah, I have books on acting, how to market myself as an actor, and all that stuff.
How do you know the names of those books, or is that just something?
Not off the top of my head. Not off the top of my head, to be honest.
Okay, just writing this down. All right. Then let's see. Courses. Have you taken courses? Acting courses or marketing courses?
Yes. On acting courses, I mean, I just graduated from college from FIU, Florida International University, and I did my BA there, my BA in theater. So I took acting, well, just theater classes in general. Acting 1 through 4. Acting 1 through 4, directing 1 and 2. Stagecraft, costuming, lighting design, all that stuff, set design, stage design. So all those classes that kind of.
Can I ask you what does that school cost a year to go to?
That's a good question because I got there because of the Florida prepaid, which is the thing we have here for college. It's that we can go. I don't want to say to go to school for free per se because we have to pay, but I only have to pay like a quarter of the tuition in general. So I don't remember. I don't remember what the full price was for either. Also, because I did my 2 years initially, I did them at MDC, Miami-Dade College, which is like the community college that some people do before we transfer over to FIU.
Okay.
Which then that cost was different too. I wouldn't know that off the top of my head. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Any other investments you've made around being an actor? Things that you've done, like perhaps movement classes, maybe. One person actually said therapy because they got so distraught over not working that they went to therapy about it. They spent that money. So my question is, anything like that outside the normal stuff?
I mean, for me, because I'm not just an actor. I'm also a film director, producer, writer. So a lot of my expenses go towards just the industry at large. I don't usually I don't say, I'm going to spend this money specifically for the acting, or I'm going to spend this money specifically for the directing. Usually my investments for that are, what can I do? What money can I spend so I could just better myself as a creative in general? And most of my expenses in that regard, I usually gear them towards networking events. So film festivals, for example, I actually just went to a film festival this weekend. So stuff like that, film festivals, film screenings, local premieres down here. So that's where the bulk of my investment is, because again, how fraught the industry is down here. A lot of the ways I get my parts, my acting roles, my acting opportunities are because of the way I've been able to network.
Awesome, good for you. So here's the next question: What is your life and or business look like when you have your desired outcome? So your desired outcome is to be a working actor or a filmmaker?
I mean, filmmaker, actor. I mean, for me, I would just use the word creative in general, whether that be geared more towards directing or acting or writing or producing, whatever road that may take.
Imagine what your life would look like if you had that desired outcome. What would it be like?
I'd be rich and famous and probably with like 5 Oscars.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, it just comes down to me being secure, both financially and personally. That's what it comes down to.
There you go.
Um,
Really. All right. If you this this next question is kind of a trick question because I'll just say it. What is the one thing that you feel you're missing? And if you knew, my take on this, if you knew it was missing, you'd probably fix it. But is there something that you feel is missing that you can't quite put your finger on, or
direction. I'm at a point where I feel a little bit aimless. Part of it has to do with the fact I just graduated a few months back. But right now I just feel a little bit aimless. So I would say direction is what I'm missing.
Okay. Cool. That's a good one. Okay. If you had a dream class or program, what would it be like? What would you like? What would you like included in a dream program for actors, filmmakers, creatives?
As if I were teaching it, or if I were taking it.
Taking it.
Okay. I would want a program or class or whatever that. That's a good question. That's a good question. Wait, give me a second. So I mean, I think for that type of class, I don't know, because I feel like what I would want to get out is just the most basic answer for me, which seems kind of like a no-duh answer, is I would want to learn whatever I can from the class, whatever it offers. If you're asking me specifically what do I want it to offer, I really can't give you much of an answer because part of me wants to say I want to go in there blind to a certain degree, but I don't know. For me, I would just want to go in there and learn whatever the subjects are. That's really what it comes down to.
I understand. That's good. Yeah, that's great. So, I'm going to phrase this question in a different way. I don't want to try to lead you here, but this idea of being aimless, like, would you like in a class that you took for actors or something, or writers, directors, whatever, would you like to have some element of it that will help you with aimlessness?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, yeah, basically, okay. That's a good way.
So it's that kind of thing. Anything else you might feel like you want in the program?
I mean, if I could get it, it depends on the program. I mean, if it's a directing class, for example, get like Steven Spielberg to direct it. If it's an acting program, get DiCaprio to do it, but like that's wishful thinking at that point.
Right.
Just have someone who knows what they're talking about, someone that's knowledgeable, someone that's open to working with you, and vice versa. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really necessarily care what they teach per se, because I'm just trying to absorb everything of what they're trying to teach us.
That's great, man. What do you want to invest in a course usually? Like, do you pay for other courses besides?
I mean, I don't pay for courses, to be honest. I mean, the ones in college, yeah, but they're also for my curriculum. Again, generally speaking, most of my investments are geared towards networking events and all of that, or like maybe books. But I don't personally do courses.
So what does a networking event cost?
Excuse me?
What does a networking event usually cost? You're saying you invest in networking events?
It depends on the event. It depends on the scale of the event. For example, the one I went to this weekend, it cost me $65, and it was for the all-day pass, and it was just a 1 day. They were only doing the festival that 1 day. So there's that. Again, it depends on the scale of the event, how many days it is, how many days I want to go. There's a lot of factors that goes between it. And the other thing is, especially right now in a post-COVID world, a lot of these prices are starting to change. Some of them for the better, some of them for the worse. Again, it's very dependent in that regard. Because during COVID, from 2020 to last year, 2022, a lot of these events were, say, $20, and you could do a Zoom meeting, essentially, like a Zoom group thing, and that goes to a networking event. So now it's kind of different. So now I'm trying to weigh out my options.
I get it. No, I get that. That's good. That's great. So fill in the blanks of this question or this statement. I want to go from blank to blank so that I can blank. From blank to blank so that I can blank.
I want to go from. want to go from a student to a teacher, so to speak, so I can be successful.
So that it can be successful. Okay. So let me just tell you about this. Is what the reason I'm doing this is because I am creating a class, an online class, and so I've been asked by I have an online marketing company that I'm partnered with, and they've asked me to interview 50 actors to see what they need, see what they want.
All right.
And so that's kind of what I'm doing here. I mean, you've been to college, you know how people do studies and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm just doing kind of a market research thing. And so my class is about character archetypes, finding your own character archetype, and then using it to your advantage. And it's based on a personality type system. There are 9 different personality types. You fit into one of those 9, and then there's a myriad of characters you can play within any of those types. And what it helps to do for actors is it helps them solve this idea of, you know, when you're fresh out of school and you're really, you're really enthusiastic. You want to do anything and everything, right? You want to play all these different roles. You want to play the villain. You want to play the hero, and sometimes we just aren't right for certain things. And so what my class aims to do is to show you what you're really right for and allow you to target those roles and work. So that's just basically, an overview of what I'm doing. And so at some point, because you've done this with me, you will be offered the class at a greatly reduced price. And I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through these 50 interviews. I don't know how long that will be. But I'll make contact with you again. And if you're interested, I'll explain more about it. And potentially take it. I don't know, if it appeals to you.
I mean, yeah, like I said, I mean, and I'm saying this more so in general. I like the idea of the class, not gonna lie. I'm just saying this for me personally in general. A lot of like classes I've seen, like, because I have gone to a few classes down here. Granted, pre-pandemic, right now, post-pandemic, where you get like the guest offer $15 type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like the guest offer type of stuff. And if you want to sign up, you can sign up for $100 for the next 2 months or whatever. But I'm using that as an example. And the one issue I always have with a lot of classes in general is the fact that sometimes it's a teacher, sometimes it's the students themselves, maybe it's a combination of both. But the program, the class, usually only focuses on a few people, like basically favoritism, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's always been my one issue. And again, I've sat in several classes. I'm not talking about the college stuff. I'm talking about like the other stuff I mentioned beforehand. And that's always been my one core issue with a lot of these classes. I mean, that aside, I also feel.
Let me see if I understand. Let me say it back to you. You're saying that when you get in these classes, they focus on one person too much?
No, a small select group of people. So, like, let's say if there's 10 people in the class, they'll only focus on like 4 of them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's always been my one issue. That's why I've never really signed up for a class. Generally speaking, again, I'm excluding the college stuff because of my curriculum, and even then, that's even granted, even in college, you still have favoritism, but even that's more balanced out, as opposed to how it is in the real world, so to speak, where they do tend to only focus on those 3 or 4 people because they're the ones that are going to make it, and not the rest or whatever. Again, I've just only sat in a few classes now that have actually taken the program, if that makes sense. But that's neither here nor there. Also, I just feel like, and I feel like this next part I'm going to mention is more of a regional thing, because I've talked to other actors who have gone to, like, let's say New York, Chicago, or even Atlanta. As far as Atlanta, it's the fact that at least down here, a lot of the classes, or at least I guess a lot of the way the classes are taught, better said, aren't taught with the industry in mind. They're just taught with the actor in mind, if that makes sense.
No, not really. What do you mean?
So, like, they're telling you, they're not telling you how would I word this? What's this example that Jeffrey gave me? They'll tell you. Okay, so my friend Jeffrey, he took a class. He took two classes. He took like an intro, how to audition class down here, right? And then he took a similar class up in Atlanta. And he told me that the difference between both classes is the fact that in the Atlanta class, the professor, he actually gave notes on this is how you can continue, even if you don't get the audition. I mean, the parts after you audition. Right. This is how you can still be on their books, on their records, so you can still be noticed, so they can still want to call you back. Whereas the classes here are only telling you, oh, this is how you audition, without anything after the process. For example.
So you're saying a lot of these people who are the teachers aren't really connected to the movie business or TV business or stage business, so they don't really necessarily give you those insights, right?
Exactly.
Got it. Well, I live in Hollywood. I've been an actor for many years. I'm produced 4 movies, and so I'm qualified. But, I'm not trying to sell the class. I'm just letting you know. And so, thank you so much. That's it. That's all of the questions I have, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Sounds good.
Let me ask you one quick. Is your last name is Martinez?
Yeah. That's my full last name, but I just cut it to Daniel Mart because my stage name, Daniel Martinez, is just a very generic name, especially for like Latin America. I'm based out of Miami. There's so many. I've had Daniel Martinez's in my own class, and that screwed up even how my own where I got in grades for classwork. And that's just and like that's just an example. Like I like straight up, not to get too into it, but like when I go to the airport, when I go to a different country, I usually have to get stopped for about half an hour because they need to make sure I'm not some other criminal called Daniel Martinez, something like that. So I mean, granted, that's not going to be an issue here, but like, let me just cut the Inez part and just go with Daniel Mart, and because there's no Daniel Mart in the industry aside from me. That's what I've been doing.
Because here's the thing, I had an opinion about it, which is that if you speak Spanish,
of course, Puesto.
You do, okay. So I mean, and when you are a Spanish-speaking actor, I mean, to have the name Martinez is probably a better handle. But I understand what you're saying. It's just not. There's too many of them. So a suggestion for you is, on your resume or whatever, just like make sure they know you speak Spanish.
I add that under special skills for sure.
Great. All right. Well, thanks so much, and I hope to see you again.